Rise Up and Run. Stories of deliverance and transformation through the power of Jesus Christ that allows people to rise up from bondage and run in freedom. I'm your host, Janice. Hi, friends. Welcome back to another episode of Rise Up and Run. This is your host, Janice. Today, I am thrilled to be welcoming kind of a new friend of mine. His name is Dustin, and I met him at our Rise Up group at Hope City Church. So, say hello, Dustin.
Hello.
Thank you for being here. I know you're kind of probably nervous and awkward and all that fun stuff.
Just a little.
Yeah, it'll be painless. I'll take care of you, buddy. So how long have you been sober now? How long have you been clean?
108 days.
Okay, slow clap. Fast clap. That's fabulous. So proud of you. One of the reasons I wanted to talk to Dustin is that sometimes my listeners might hear a guest say, I've got 2 years clean, I've got 4 years clean, and they might see that as being kind of unreachable for where they are if they're still using. And so what I really liked about your story, Dustin, was that you're relatively new to sobriety. Would you say that?
Yes.
And so I feel like maybe someone that's listening is like, I can do 100 days. I could do 100 days, where the 2 and 4 years is unreachable to them, they feel.
It was easy, I just kind of made up my mind, and something I don't see myself looking back.
That's great. Tell me what your childhood was like. What was the home like that you grew up in?
It was rather normal. My mom and biological father, they separated when I was 2 years old, and she got remarried to another guy, which kind of took the place of my father. We went fishing every weekend, and sometimes him and I would stay out on the boat all weekend long, and we'd catch all kinds of fish, and yeah, it was pretty normal.
Was there substance abuse going on in your house? Yeah,
he was an alcoholic for the first, I think, 5 years or somewhere right in there, and him and my mom fought a lot, and then he just quit drinking. And our family, we were very poor. Like there were 7 of us.
7 kids or 7 total?
7 total. My mom, him, and I had 3 step siblings, and then my biological sister. And growing up, we were really poor. And then one day he was just like, man, we got to do something, and one of us came up, it wasn't me, obviously, I was the youngest, but one of us came up with, let's put flyers out for your business. And so as a family, we walked around Waterloo and we put flyers on doors. And yeah, then it was neat. Just like, we never saw him then after that because he always had enough work, so, and then we bought things like pontoons and stuff, so it was.
So the money was coming in.
Yeah,
then?
The money was coming in after that. So, but
when he was drinking, Dustin, what was that like for you as a child? Was he like a violent drunk, or was?
I remember one year for Christmas, he drug our Christmas tree out and set it on fire in the front yard. All of our stuff, all of our presents. We didn't have it. We stayed together. That was our present, for Christmas.
And he was drunk when he did that.
Drunk, yeah.
And he was upset at somebody, probably your mom. I don't know.
Yeah. So the nights that him and my mom would argue, my mom would pack up my sister and I, and we'd go out to my great grandma's house when she was still alive, and we'd stay there for the weekend or whatever night it was. And I miss them times. I miss that lady.
Your great grandma?
Yeah, my great grandma. She had Alzheimer's for like 20 years before she passed, but towards the end it was really, really horrible. But yeah, we loved her. The
effects of your stepdad's alcoholism on you was what, would you say?
Well, I never really cared for alcohol, I don't know. I mean, he was a great guy. He took the place of my dad not showing up so many times, They divorced when I was 11.
Okay.
I haven't got that far yet.
Yeah, we're getting there. We're getting closer. Wow, I'm sorry to hear that.
Then now she's remarried. He's been probably the best father figure that I've known.
Okay, so you had some instability,
Yeah.
would you say, growing up?
Yeah.
You said you were opposed to drinking. So drinking has never been a problem for
I
you?
have drank before.
But has it been a problem?
Okay, so when I was, I believe 20 years old, I was dating my oldest daughter's mother, and I substituted methamphetamine for alcohol. And
Let's pause. I want to go back a little bit further. So when did you start using drugs or alcohol?
13 years old.
13. Yes. And how was it introduced to you? By a friend or?
Yes. Well, that's what people around me always did. Mm-hmm. You know, like, my friends mainly.
Yeah. And so it started with alcohol?
No, it started with cocaine, actually.
What?
Yeah.
Usually people start with like alcohol or maybe a little marijuana.
No, I never liked marijuana. I was introduced to cocaine at 13. Yep. When my mom moved, I stayed in town with my sister and still hung out with my friends.
Okay. And so when did it become a problem?
Actually, cocaine was, I don't feel like that was really, it wasn't a problem until later on in life. Mm-hmm. But because I soon after I tried cocaine, I switched over to meth, like almost immediately.
A young teenager.
Yeah.
Wow.
I actually traded a little bit of coke for a little bit of meth, and I never went back to using coke until I was about 17 years old.
What do you think made you want to start using drugs? Was it just like, hey, try this, buddy? And then it just, or I mean, were you going through some kind of a crisis, or was it just curiosity?
Curiosity, you know, just kind of like, I don't know, I guess I used to like the thrill of being dizzy.
Okay, you could just spin around a little bit, and that would settle for that. But you liked how it made you feel.
Yep.
Yeah. So that was 14-ish. You started using meth. How old are you now?
38.
Okay, so then take it from there.
I sometimes I would stay up for weeks. That's I don't know if the meth was different back then or than it is now, because you know, back when I still used, there would be no way that I could stay up for weeks, like 2 nights tops, you know. And but I guess it was just I don't know, it developed into took all control over me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Did you graduate from high school?
No, I did not. I got my GED in 2008 at Clarinda State Penitentiary.
Good for you.
Yeah.
I'm proud of you.
Yeah, that was my first milestone.
Yeah.
You know?
So you went to prison at what age?
18 was my first time.
And was it drug charges?
No, I've never had a drug charge.
Oh, yeah.
I've never had
the meth addict with no drug charges. Let me guess, probably theft? Yeah.
Theft and burglaries. My first 2 felonies were Iowa lottery fraud.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
How much time did you do then?
I got a 90-day shock, and it feels like as soon as I got to prison, I was kicked out.
Okay.
So,
how many times have you been in prison now?
4.
4?
Yeah.
For thefts and burglaries and things like that.
Yes.
All to supply your drug habit.
Yes.
Did you pretty much stay with meth then? Or did you wander around?
When my dad came into the picture kind of a little bit more, I was about 15, 16 years old, and him and I, we went on a trip to Minneapolis, and on the way back, you know, he was like, don't worry about what your dad does, you know, and he took a hit of crack, you know, and so we got back to Waterloo, and that was on the way back. He took the hit of crack, and then when we got back to Waterloo, we were sitting out in front of a house, or I was, and he was inside for hours, like, and I was just sitting out there, and I had pretty loud stereo in the car, you know, and I just sat out there 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning, and my stereo was on full blast. I was so mad, you know. But then I went in there, and at that time, you know, I had a wine cooler with him, you know, and I was looking around the table, you know, and this place was like disgusting. Mm-hmm. They had cockroaches running around and it was the nightmare. It was a total picture of a crack house, you know, and the mental thought of a crack house, you know. But I sat down at the table, and he was like, well, you want to hit? And I was like, okay, you know, whatever. And so I took a hit of crack, and it was about 6 months later was the last hit of crack I took. They were out doing wrongful things, you know, to buy the crack, you know, and I remember the size of the crack rock that they bought from this house was like a little bit smaller than a baseball, and that's a lot of crack. That's a lot of crack.
Wow.
And him and his friend they were sitting in the front seats of the van. And my dad looked in the rear mirror and he said, "What, you can get a hit, son?" You know, like that. And I looked at him and I shook my head no, and I threw my crack pipe and it went ding, 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 ding in front of the windshield and the dash. And it stayed up on the dash. And I said, "Take me home. This shit's stupid." You know, so sorry for cussing.
That's okay. Well,
And he took me to my grandma's house. And when I went there, you know, my grandma's always been open arms, you know. And about a week and a half later, my dad pulled in. And then he was like, "My crack binge is over," you know, and so I introduced him to meth, and so it's not a win-win, but you know, I introduced him to meth, and then he stopped smoking crack then too.
And he got into meth.
Yeah, he got into meth real bad. Oh, I gave him meth too. I gave him meth.
Yeah, finally.
Cold turkey. Yeah, I mean,
We're gonna get to that.
It's been a miracle. It really has. God's laid hands on me.
I can't wait. So you started using meth at 13. You're 38 now, and you stopped.
I was using meth for about a year and a half before I went to IV needles. While my first daughter's mother was pregnant, I went back to using drugs and IV hard. And when my first daughter was born, I was like, you know what, I'm done. I gotta stop using IVs. It took me 10 years to stop using IVs, and another 5 years to stop using, or 7 years to stop using the pipe.
Yeah. So is it because IV you get a quicker response? Is that why it was harder?
Yeah, that always scared me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. What made you go back?
I don't know.
You were clean for about how long at that time?
A month.
And then you just thought,
something.
that's what I always want to. That intrigues me. Is like, what were you telling yourself, like when you decided to pick it up again?
I don't know. Things aren't going right. You know, just bad situations, bad places, bad people around me.
Yeah. So would you say that who you hang around with contributes to staying clean or not?
Oh, yeah. Most definitely. Well, a friend of mine actually shared with us in Rise Ups, but he said, you know, if somebody sits next to you and takes a hit off of a pipe or something and then hands it to you, he's not your friend. They're not your friend, you know, and so you just surround yourself around good people, you know, the positive people that, you know, that actually do have, you know, the best interest for you, or have good interest for you.
And that's what I would tell people too, is like, you don't even need to be around people that have the off chance of maybe offering you a hit off a pipe.
Right.
You know, we've got to be so careful about who we surround ourselves with, especially recovering folks.
Right.
When's the last time you got out of prison?
Oh, it's been 2019, I think, 19 something. So
okay. So
maybe that's when I went. I don't know.
It's been a while.
Yeah,
a little bit.
It's been a few years, you know. But.
And then you were using for a while then?
Yeah.
After you got out of prison?
Yep.
And then poof, one day you woke up and you said, done.
No,
not that easy?
Okay, so I got arrested for driving and a few other criminal charges, but I went to Blackhawk County Jail and was there for 2 weeks before, and I just decided to, you know, stay clean when I got out, you know, and I didn't really think about it in them 2 weeks, you know. I just kind of like detoxed and you know, and then my sister messaged me. She said somebody broke the windshield out of my truck, and I said, "Well, sell the truck, get me out." And she was like, "No." And I was like, "Well, I want to move in and stay clean." And she was like, "Okay." And she got me out that hour. You know, she sold my truck like that, and I took like a huge loss on that. But I had a really nice truck.
But you had such a gain.
Yeah.
What were you thinking when you were in jail those 2 weeks? What made you realize, I am so sick of this? Like, what were you? Help us out there.
Well, I think when When I got arrested, that's not what my intentions were right away to get clean. You know, I was gonna stick it out, potentially go to prison and get out and, you know, still just do the same old stuff, you know. But you know, I was looking at people in the day room and stuff, you know, and I had friends there, you know, and they were all clear-minded, you know, clean-minded. And the guy actually that I traded the coke for the meth was in the day room too. So I mean, it took me way back to my early using days.
Yeah.
And yeah, and he was like, you know, I'm sick of this. You know, I'm homeless when I get out of here, and a lot of people were like, I have no place to go. I'm going to prison, you know, but they were all clear-minded. They were all battling their own struggles, you know, but they were clear-minded. A lot of the people at my table, they were all just like, I don't want to go back to, you know, using drugs. I don't want to go back to drinking. I want to live a normal life, you know. I guess they say that recovery is contagious. So
In your family, one person starts doing something right.
Yeah.
And
we have many more to go in my family.
that's okay. That's okay, because they're watching you and they're like, I want that.
Yeah.
If Dustin can be like he was and like he is now,
Cold turkey.
give that to me.
Yeah.
Okay, so you get out of jail, you call Rachel.
Yeah, no, she bonded me out, and then when I got out, I was sad about my truck, but so I was like, take me to the liquor store. I need to drink my truck away. And James looked at Rachel, and Rachel looked at me.
James is your brother-in-law.
My brother-in-law, yep, my sister's husband. He looked at Rachel. Rachel looked at me, and she said, like that. And I was like, I'm just joking, you know, like.
No, you weren't.
I wasn't joking though. I really wanted to drink my truck away, but
Yeah.
So I promised them that I wouldn't use, which it was mainly a promise that I was fulfilling for myself, that I made myself, you know. I just made up my mind, you know, Janice, like, if life is so much better without that chaos, the problems, the, you know, the fast money I miss, but then, you know, now I really don't miss that either, you know. It's not worth it.
So much to gain from that. So you go from fast money to no money, right?
Yeah. I was making a living selling drugs. I'm not going to hide that. I was making a living selling drugs, and I regret it. You know, how many lives I've messed up and stuff. You know, it's just.
Yeah, look at you now, though. So you didn't even know Jesus then when you quit, did you?
Yeah, I got baptized when I was 7 years old.
Really? When did you start having a solid relationship with Jesus?
My grandma beat Jesus into us all, the whole family. Well, all, like, my sister and I, and, you know, some of my cousins, but yeah, my grandpa was a preacher. Not really a preacher, but he preached to us.
Okay.
And he would tell just wild Indians and cowboy stories, and he'd always throw in a Jesus verse and stuff, you know what I'm saying?
Oh,
yeah, he was special.
That's
neat. He was very special. But I've always known God, like, you know, I've always had faith in his story, you know, like what he has in store for us. His plans for us are going to be beautiful. I know that.
And when did you really embrace that? At what point in your current sobriety?
When I got clean, I started going to Hope City Church, and now I wait until Sunday. Yeah, I'm excited.
Tell them what's happening Sunday.
2 more days away. No. My baptism's this Sunday, but that's every week. I wait till Sunday. You know?
Don't you?
Yeah.
I know, it's like I can't not go to church or Rise Up.
Yeah.
When did you first start coming to Rise Up?
The same time.
The same time.
Yeah,
and what did you think? Like, what did you think going in, and then what did you think going out?
I think I got bonded out of jail. And I think it was on a Saturday, and then I went to church on Sunday. I can't remember. It was so long ago. It was 100 days ago. But
with Rachel and James, you went? Okay.
And we, as a family, we don't miss Sunday. We all pile in this minivan and
I'm just so proud of you. I know the first time that I saw you at Rise Up, me and Bob, we were like, who's that guy? Is he a facilitator? Because you were like the most clean looking meth addict that I'd ever seen in my life. I mean, buttoned down, hair nice and combed. And we were like, is he a facilitator or is he one of the clients? And I don't know. You have a countenance. You know what a countenance is? Like your aura or the energy that comes from you is so amazing. But it's not even like you. It's God. Yeah. And you just eke out the Holy Spirit and just, you're doing so well.
Thank you.
So well.
Thank you. So after I got out of jail, this is where I'm up to this point. About a week after I got out of jail, I watched my brother graduate Momentum, and then I applied for Momentum, and I had such anxiety.
Let's talk about what Momentum is.
Momentum's
oh, he's showing me the shirt. Like, that's going to help our listeners, right?
It's Urban Employment Initiative.
So it's a 6-week course. It's
6 weeks.
Put on through One City, which is an organization in Waterloo.
Michelle and Dean Feltus.
Awesome people.
They are very kind, loving, like you and Bob.
Oh my gosh, that just really honors me. Thank you for saying that. But what is the program about?
It taught me a lot about myself, be aware that things can go wrong. Early in my recovery, that was something that I feel was necessary. It helped me make my own brand for recovery, make my own path to recovery, so if things go wrong now, I just what just happened.
Like they just did. We'll talk about that in a minute, maybe.
I just kind of look past it, God made the rearview mirror a bit smaller for a reason. The windshield is bigger for, what's to come, not for what the past holds, but, and then I graduated Momentum, and that was one of the biggest things that I've done besides got my GED, and I'm most proud of myself for, other than my children. I have 4 children, 3 daughters and a boy. And I just, I strive every day to just do better for them, and myself. But then after Momentum, I applied for Recovery Coach Academy. I took a course, Peer Support Recovery Coach Academy. It was 5 days long, and they put so much information in my head, that's for sure. And then, so I got certified to be a coach. Now I just have to do the 500 hours of internship, shadowing a coach. And then I have to take some ethics class and then become a specialist. So.
And so your goal is to do what?
Drug and alcohol counselor. I
love that. You are going to be the real deal for people, being like, he did it. I can do it too.
I'm trying, I got a job for sure when I get done with it, with my sister's program. So.
Oh, that's wonderful. Yeah. I would always tell my clients, just look back long enough to know that you don't want to go back there. But other than that, just press on straight ahead. Now when I think of, because obviously I still run into people on the streets and gas stations, just driving by, whatever. I still run into people that are actively using, and I try to distance myself from them, but I don't make it obvious. I would like to lend them a hand and trying to get clean, or just a couple, inspiring words or anything that I can, but I know that I can't. I'm not in a position to do that right now, because I'm just trying to build my foundation strong. That's very wise of you.
That way I'm not my foundation doesn't get tore down like it has so many times in the past.
That's really smart.
It took me 38 years to figure this stuff out.
That is okay. And look at you now, though, Dustin.
Yeah, it's, and every time I got out of prison, I didn't go right back to using drugs, but pretty quick.
Well, as a PO, I could always see it coming, and people would, I would say, okay, you're slacking off on your NA meetings, you're missing treatment.
That's a huge part of why I got to stay clean, was NA and Rise Up support group.
I love Rise Up. But I think
Rise Up is really, I look forward to that. I get what I need from just that one meeting.
What do you like about it? As someone coming in as a client, I'm using air quotes, client.
Well, the helping hand, like the support that we have from the fellow brothers and few sisters. We really don't look down on anybody, whatever their medicine or whatever they've done in life, whatever their poison is. I speak as medicine is poison. It's
sure.
kind of the same
drugs,
thing, drugs, whatever it is that they were addicted to, it's all the same, and it's all poison. We're just glad to have all of us together that are in recovery and serving the Lord and can help each other when we can help each other, and the words of a fellow brother to another is inspiring to keep moving, to keep trucking, to keep building a foundation. So that's mainly what I take from the NA and AA meetings and Rise Up support group.
The thing that I love about Rise Up too is the guys will share like deep sorrows. I mean, I feel like everyone's being genuine and honest, knowing it's a safe place to be like, I'm scared, or
Right.
And then people will come alongside them or stay late and pray with them.
Yeah,
it's
stand up in the middle of the meeting and run across the circle and give them a hug. Yeah,
I just love watching that. From my viewpoint, I feel like it's a very sacred place where I would dare be allowed to watch Jesus, like what he's doing in all these men's lives. It's just spectacular.
Yeah.
So we were talking a little bit earlier about, when you're a Christian, some people think, well, I'm a Christian now, I should have no problems, everything will be great. You had not a great thing happen Wednesday?
No, Wednesday night.
It was Wednesday. Yeah, he was supposed to, okay, I'm gonna out him here. He was supposed to record this podcast Wednesday at 3:00. And so like 3:10, I messaged it. Where are you? He forgot, you guys. He forgot. He's looking at me mean. I can edit that out if I need to.
I'm not looking at you mean. I'm looking at you like, oh my goodness.
So do you want to share like what happened, or don't you want to talk about that?
I had a hiccup with the law that happened, something that happened before I got sober, and it's coming back to bite me.
Many months ago.
But after this one, there's nothing going to be able to bite me. So that's good.
Yes, that was a good way to explain that. Yeah, and if anyone listening would like to pray, let's pray for.
Please and thank you.
Yes, let's pray that the judge would be kind and lenient and see what Dustin is doing now with his life and the impact he's having on people, and just that there'd be mercy shown.
Since I got clean, there's been nothing but good, and then this hiccup. But I try to look at it as it can be good too. It's not good, but it can be good. I can make it good, whether it's prison that I get or if it's, whatever it is. I can look at it as in a positive way.
Mm-hmm. Because in Romans it says, God can work all things for the good. Yeah. For people who love God and are called according to his purpose. And that's faith. You.
Keep faith in him.
Yep. And just be prepared, for what's down the road. And there's that comfort in knowing that whatever happens, God has allowed everything through his hand to refine us and to make him more like him.
Right. He don't dish us more than we can't eat, more than we can't take.
Yeah.
He don't dish us out that.
And a lot of times I feel like he does sometimes just because we can't do it, but he can. Yeah. So then we'll say, Lord, I'm done. I got nothing else. Jesus, take the wheel. Right. Help me out here.
Right.
Yeah. Is there anything else that you'd want to talk about, or any advice or any verses that really meant a lot to you that you could give to someone who might be struggling right now?
Well, I always reflect back on Psalms 91. He who dwells in the shelter of the Most High will rest in the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress, my God in whom I trust. Surely He will save you from the fowler's snare and from the deadly pestilence. He will cover you with His feathers, and under His wings you will find refuge. His faithfulness will be at your shield and rampart. You will not fear the terror of the night, nor the arrow that flies by day, nor the pestilence that stalks in the darkness, nor the plague that destroys at midday. Yeah, I always reflect on that. You know, like, I don't know, something growing up, I always read Psalms, you know, and Proverbs. Psalms is like the music of the Lord, you know, and Proverbs is like the
wisdom.
The wisdom.
Just basic wisdom.
Yeah. So that's just one of my favorite verses. I should have known it by heart, but I don't.
That's okay. That's okay. Is there any advice that you'd like to give someone who's in the spot that you were in?
There's a lot of trials and error, you know, and, you know, if you can pick yourself up once and try to get clean. And even if you fall, even if you fail or get set back in any way, or anything harms you in any way, like you end up in jail, you know, you can always look forward. There's a brighter future. There's the past is the past, and you shouldn't be haunted by the past no matter what you've done. You know, you can become a better person in life, and that's the things that people really struggle with looking at, I think, is their past and everything that, you know, like somebody that says, oh, you know, the church will set on fire if I walk in it. No, it won't. You know, God is, it might be raining when you come out of church because God was like, you know, I put that fire out, you know, you know, or God's happy tears, you know, like, it's stuff that haunts the people that keeps them from moving forward, I believe. And
so no bad thing that we have ever done will ever outweigh God's grace and His mercy to us. He just wants us to come home.
Have faith in the Lord.
Yep.
That's the big one. And people lose faith, and it's, I mean, that stuff's possible. You know, you lose faith and start sinning again or something, you know, and some of us bounce back and start going straight and narrow again, you know. But I just pray that everybody can overcome their addiction and do better.
Live a life free.
Find the Lord and move forward,
Yeah. What a beautiful note to end on. I'm going to just pray us out, if that's okay.
Right.
God, it's been a blessing and an honor to interview Dustin today. He has such a beautiful countenance for you, Lord, and I can see you working heavily and mightily in his life. I'm grateful to know this man. Father, I pray that you would bless him, that you would continue to make his foundation solid in you. I pray for any future court dates coming up that there would be mercy and grace extended to him, and people would see the man that he is now versus what he used to be. God, you are all forgiving, all loving, and you are thrilled to have Dustin back. God, I thank you for this time. I thank you for what you're doing in his life. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you, Janice. Amen.